Welcome back to another inspiring chapter. In the heart of modern China, a man once scarred by hardship would rise to challenge the giants of industry. His story is not only about success, but about defiance, risk, and a dream that nearly shattered everything he had built. Yet in that collapse rests the very secret of why his name still echoes in boardrooms across China and beyond. Yao Zhenhua was not born into fortune. His childhood unfolded in the shadows of struggle, with daily economic hardships molding his spirit. Unlike many who faltered under pressure, Yao found determination in scarcity. Every disappointment became a lesson, every setback another push toward independence. By the time he was a young man, he carried within him a fire, a vision to build something that would outlive him. In 1992, at a time when China's economy was opening its doors to bold thinkers, Yao laid the first brick of his empire, Baoneng Group. What began as a modest retail business was to evolve into one of the most diversified conglomerates in the country. Yao's venture was not just a company, it was his declaration of ambition. Within just a few years, Baoneng Group transformed China's retail landscape. Yao built shopping malls that boasted not only sheer size, but an atmosphere where commerce thrived. Over 40 malls rose across the nation, making the name Baoneng synonymous with growth and innovation. This dominance of retail provided Yao with more than financial capital. It gave him credibility, which he would later gamble on some of the boldest moves in China's corporate history. But retail was only the beginning. Yao envisioned Baoneng as a vast tree with branches stretching into real estate, investments, finance, healthcare, technology, and entertainment. He was never satisfied with standing still, and his restless ambition often led him to opportunities few dared to touch. If Yao's retail ventures made him visible, his foray into finance made him unavoidable. His insurer, 4C Life, once a quiet player in the market, stormed into the spotlight when it began buying colossal amounts of shares in China Vanke, one of the country's largest and most respected real estate developers. By the time the dust settled, Yao held a 25% stake in Vanke, a position so significant that it shook the very foundations of China's financial community. That bold move catapulted him into headlines and earned him both admiration and scrutiny. At the peak of this rise, his fortune had grown to $5.3 billion, cementing him as a major figure in the corporate world. But triumph often carries shadows. In February 2017, the same boldness that fueled Yao's success turned against him. Regulators took a hard look at the aggressive tactics employed by 4C Life, casting doubt on the legality of his maneuvers. For Yao, the consequences were devastating. A 10-year ban from the insurance sector. For most, this could have marked the end. A decade away from a crucial business arm could have dismantled Baoneng or forced Yao into obscurity. Yet Yao never allowed failure to define him. He stepped away from insurance but continued to guide Baoneng from a different vantage point, redirecting its energy into expansion and diversification. Yao's influence is still visible in the towering skyscrapers, sprawling housing complexes, and urban developments overseen by Baoneng. His real estate vision was never just about buildings, but about shaping communities. He directed projects that redefined city spaces, blending commerce, living, and leisure into modern hubs. This transformation extended Baoneng's authority far beyond retail. Each new development showcased not just a structure, but Yao's belief in creating environments that drove both economic growth and improved living standards for millions. A defining trait of Yao Zhenhua was his deep understanding of market rhythms. He possessed a rare ability to navigate intricate financial landscapes, spotting trends where others saw confusion. Under his leadership, Baoneng executed calculated investments that balanced risk with long-term sustainability. That acumen placed him among China's most respected business figures. Even after setbacks, he was admired as a strategist who saw potential before anyone else did. Yet wealth alone was not enough for Yao. His leadership within Baoneng pushed boundaries in healthcare, technology, and entertainment, reshaping the company into much more than a real estate or retail powerhouse. He saw innovation as fuel for the future, encouraging teams to create with imagination and courage. His boardrooms became spaces of invention rather than caution, marking another reason why Baoneng thrived even when one door shut. And he looked outward, far beyond China. Partnerships across borders began to position Baoneng as an international force, earning a seat at the global table. What makes Yao's story different is not just its scale, but its conscience. At a time when industries worldwide often clash with environmental concerns, Yao championed sustainability. Under his guidance, Baoneng integrated eco-friendly measures, reducing its carbon footprint and embedding responsibility into its operations. Parallel to this, Yao invested in people. He placed emphasis on empowering younger generations through education and mentorship, ensuring that the future of entrepreneurship in China would not just be larger, but wiser. Amid the skyscrapers and malls, Yao Zhenhua resides in Shenzhen, a city as restless and ambitious as his own dreams. Here, he manages his empire while never turning away from philanthropy. His contributions to social causes speak volumes about his desire to create impact beyond the boardroom. From disadvantaged communities to broader social programs, his philanthropic hand reminds the world that wealth's true purpose lies in responsibility. Yao does not see Baoneng only in the present. His vision stretches far into the future, where innovation and global partnerships will secure the conglomerate as a household name across continents. His setbacks did not end him. They hardened his resolve. For him, challenges are not barriers, but gateways to reinvention. And that is perhaps the most remarkable part of Yao Zhenhua's story. The tale of a boy who harnessed hardship, built an empire from a single retail venture, defied giants, fell, and then rose again, without losing the fire within. His story is not over, and maybe that is why it intrigues so deeply. Because when we speak of Yao Zhenhua, it is not just about what he built. It is about what he might yet still build.